1,000 ṣáláńsà ẹ̀ kó máa yé ẹ òwe ṣe é gbà pórí wa pé orí pípé làwọn elégbè ẹ fi ń kọrin bọ́mọ wúrà mọ́ bá wọlé òdù kò sí wàhálà fanigi lájẹ ọ̀gá ṣá o.
And then on the first day of shoot, an old man came to Uncle Tunde Kilani and he told him, Ayinla re yen o, Ayinla gangan re yen.
There are no Ayinla Omowura videos. There are none. I mean, how do you...
No videos.
How are you able to play the role without seeing?
It was difficult. And then the ambassador had to be like, I'm sorry, I have to break all protocols. And then she stood up and she started dancing. in Vienna.
I'm reading on your Instagram page. You said... I had a few friends over recently. I told them about my dark days before the limelight. Many of them didn't believe me. Me? I promise you I will believe you. Please tell me. Tell me. What,
Oh my goodness.
what were those dark days?
I heard to be successful in the Yoruba industry, they said, you must belong to a caucus in those days. So I have to join. So I joined the...
Wow.
It's a theater. So it was really a tough one. All the time.
In the pantheon of African music, the late Ayinla Omowura was beyond and without compare. Unfortunately, since he died in 1980, we've had nothing but the audio versions of his work. I mean, there are virtually no videos of Ayinla available. And yet, just yesterday, I was watching the biopic of his life, the movie of his life, the eponymous Ayinla, and my mother walked into the sitting room, took a look at the screen for a few seconds and said, ṣé wọ́n record Ayinla kó tó kú ni? Did they record Ayinla before he died? And I was like, no, that is an actor playing the role. And my mother goes, no. And she looks closer and goes, okay, Coca-Cola, this one doesn't have tribal marks. And she was like, wow, I would never have known. That was the extent to which that actor embodied the man and he killed the role. Just amazing. On this one, I speak to the insanely talented Lateef Adedimeji. This is the deep dive. Ó ṣé Ọmọwúrà mọ́tú mi, ó ṣé Ọmọwúrà mọ́tú mi, ìdánwò tí mo ṣe fún wọn àwọn ti pass lọ́jọ́ tó ti pẹ́. 1,000 ṣáláńsà ẹ̀ kó máa yé ẹ òwe ṣe é gbà pórí wa pé orí pípé làwọn elégbè ẹ fi ń kọrin bọ́mọ wúrà mọ́ bá wọlé òdù kò sí wàhálà fanigi lájẹ ọ̀gá ṣá o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, Ayinla re yen.
My bro.
I salute you, Mama.
Thank you for being here. Your schedule is crazy.
I know.
Crazy. You just came in from Oyo?
Yeah, very correct.
Wow. Wow, getting you has been quite the ask, and man, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so look, let me apologize before we start. I'm going to sporadically break into Ayinla songs while we're talking about Ayinla,
right?
And he gets why, as our people sing. I mean, because you sang those songs, you actually sang them. Right. The songs that I know, the songs I heard my father play, the songs that I still listen to, you actually sang them. I mean, I had goosebumps. I was almost freaking out when you were singing àti ń bògún onírè alárinrin àti ń bògún onírè alárinrin tìdúmàgbà ó jọ mí lójú sọmọrí èèyàn ló wá bá wa bọ ẹni inú ń bí kò bọ́ tiẹ̀ lọ́tọ̀ ògún àjọbọ ò ní jẹ́ atẹ́ ògún àjọbọ kò ní jẹ́ atẹ́ ògún àjọbọ. Now so why it freaks me out is that you posted on Instagram not too long ago that it wasn't like you were an adherent of Akpala music or Ayinla Omowura. It wasn't like you were a big fan, that you were just an actor playing a role. Yes. I'm sorry. I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
That's the truth. Even before the script at all, I don't think I know who Ayinla Omowura was. I'm not even a fan of any kind of such music, Yoruba kind of music. I'm not a fan. I don't even listen to Akpala, not for any reason. So when I was called for the film and then I read the script, reading the script, I saw that there is going to be a lot of singing in it. So I still didn't think towards Ayinla or anything until I met with Uncle Tunde Kilani, the director, and he was asking me, do I know who the story is about? I said, who? He said, Ayinla Omowura. I said, who is Ayinla Omowura? My Ayinla. This is it, this is it, this is it. So he now explained it all to me. Then he gave me a lot of books that was written about him to go and read first. And he sent me some of his songs to go and listen to it first and then get back to him if it is something I'll be willing to do. So I had to start listening to Akpala music right from then. Then at a point I am from Egba, but I wasn't born there and I've never lived in Egba. So, but for me to be able to carry out this character to the best of my ability, I have to go back. I have to go back home. You know, I went to Abeokuta, stayed in Abeokuta for like 2 weeks. I have to most of the time wake up in the morning, go to where Ayinla lived, his area, walked around the area from time to time, trying to look for him, trying to look for the spirit, and then find a way to just sit into the character. And then for a long time, I had to start speaking Egba because my Egba is not as fluent as it was in the film. So I had to get somebody that speaks so much Conk Egba to be with me all of the time. And then Uncle Tunde Kilani is somebody who wants it to be as original as possible. So there is this live band from Benin Republic. They call the man Ayinla Bene. So he sings basically all Ayinla songs. So they brought the whole of that band to Nigeria. So that was the man that was sitting beside me. There is a man that is always sitting beside me in the film. That man is the Ayinla of Benin. So he knows all of the songs. So they are always with me, morning and night. Even when I'm sleeping, they are singing. So I'm always waking up to hear the song. I'm sleeping, hearing the song and all of it. So I was able to just swim in the character and be able to deliver. So it wasn't an easy job.
Awesome. So that was that guy near you because you're singing the songs and I'm freaking out because look, my musical taste is as you can imagine, it seems to belong to an age that is past. So to hear somebody sing it, and first of all, Uncle Tunde Kelani, thank you very much for doing that for us and everybody who was a part of that great work. So to hear you doing that freaked me out. To hear you sing àṣírí náwó mò ń sọ kò ní tún ní ṣojú àwọn ẹni bá mowó lò lówó mi àbá gbé. It freaked me out.
You're such a fan of Ayinla.
It freaked me out. So
yes.
Look, but to play somebody, because I was watching recently the actor Ben who played Bob Marley in the biopic. The recent biopic, and he was talking about how he studied Bob and how he watched Bob. And so watching is an integral part of playing a role. Mm-hmm. But as far as I know, there are no Ayinla Omowura videos. There are none. I mean, how do you...
No videos.
How are you able to play the role without seeing?
It was difficult. It was difficult. At first, when they said, okay, you're going to be playing Ayinla, the next thing I asked him is, what can I see of him that will be able to, once I see that, I can look for him and then get into it. Said there is none. That the only interview he would have done in his lifetime, he got angry towards when they want to start the interview and he left and he never recorded anything. So there were no videos of Ayinla at all. No single one. So now, as an actor, it was going to be a very tough one for me. But at the same time, I have read a lot of things about him and I've heard people talk about him. So I told Uncle Tunde, you will allow me to be going to his area from time to time. All I need to do is to just erase everything that has to do with Lateef and be looking for Ayinla everywhere around there. So basically, I closed my brain to everything. For like 2 months, it was just me looking for Ayinla all of the time. So from what people have said about him, from things I listened to, and from some of the people in the area that spoke about him, so I imagine how they say he works. I imagine how they say he composes music. I imagine all of those things in my head as an actor, and I started building up the kind of characterization I feel what they are saying would match up with. So I started doing all of that in my head. And then on the first day of shoot, an old man came to Uncle Tunde Kilani, an elderly man, and he went to Uncle Tunde Kilani and he told him, Ayinla re yen o, Ayinla gangan re yen. And Uncle Tunde Kilani said that was the day he knows that this film is going to be a successful film. Because the man just came from nowhere and just, I'm dressed already, and he was like, Ayinla re yen. Ayinla re.
My mom said the same thing.
So it was a tough one, and I love the fact that I was able to challenge myself to that level and be able to deliver it.
Okay, so the mannerism that you always did when Ayinla was walking, that throwing of the shoulder. Yes. I mean, without seeing the video, how did you know to do that? That throwing of the shoulder.
It was just from all of the things I've heard about him. I felt if this man is this strong-headed person, very straight to the point. If you say one thing or the other, he doesn't need to discuss anything with you. The next thing is going into his music realm and then reply you with a music. So I could imagine the kind of confidence that he has in him. And I could imagine that kind of person when he wants to walk on the road or whatever, he would walk with so much confidence that because he told at the beginning of the film when he was replying the Babalawo, and he told the Babalawo that so I could sense from that line that so I just came up with that out of okay, and then like that.
Man, you're something else. So please tell me that beyond the appreciation that people like me feel for the awesomeness of the work that you did, please tell me that the outside world, even those who do not understand who Ayinla was and what his music represents, please tell me that they understand the magnitude and gave you your flowers. In short, how many awards did you win?
For Ayinla, I think I've won like about 3 awards. I won the APA Awards, the Hollywood Pan-African Awards in Los Angeles. Ayinla won the Best Actor. I also won it for Ayinla also won AMA Awards, won the Best Cinematography in AMA Awards. And then in Nigeria, Born Awards, I also won the Best Actor in Born Awards as well. And basically, and then but I know that wherever I go, in Nigeria and outside the country, I have seen people, old people, educated people, love the fact that I was able to deliver that character to that level. On my last trip, this recent trip that I came back from France, somebody still met me in the plane, and the same thing the person said is, Ayinla is still my best of you ever. I was like, thank you. That means that was a great job.
Awesome. Look, were you not up for an AMVCA?
No. For that year, Ayinla was not nominated at all for AMVCA. Ayinla didn't make...
in what world? In what planet? On what universe? In what cosmos?
Ayinla didn't make...
How? When? Why? Who?
Right? I don't know. Ayinla didn't make any AMVCA nomination that year. None at all.
I will have to investigate, because you're pulling my legs here. I mean, that is ridiculous beyond the pale. That is like I don't get that. But look, moving on. So this must happen for you a lot, seeing how you embodied that role. And I promise you that in a minute we're going to get beyond Ayinla. Let me just stay here for a minute. See, as the producer and the creator of the Teju Babyface show, I mean, what I did was bring the biggest musicians. I mean, my heroes, from King Sunny Ade to Ebenezer Obey to Orlando Julius. What I did was bring my heroes on the show, K1, Adewale Ayuba, Pasuma, and so on. And I never got to bring a few people that meant so much to me musically. And Ayinla was one of them. So this is me living out a fantasy of sorts. You know, you're channeling Ayinla's spirit. So just allow me for a few more minutes, okay? Considering that you embody that role, do the fans of Ayinla sometimes forget that you are not Ayinla? Do people see you and treat you almost as if you're the man himself and forget for a minute that you're not the man?
Yes. It happened to me in Vienna, Austria. I was called to come and perform Ayinla at the Egbe Omo Oduduwa in Vienna. They do it every year. They call it Adedimeji. So I was called to the stage. We have the Nigerian ambassador to Hungary right there as well. So with no band or anything, I picked up the mic and then I started singing. And then the ambassador had to be like, I'm sorry, I have to break all protocols. And then she stood up and she started dancing. in Vienna, you know, that was where I met her. And from there, she invited me to Hungary, to the Nigerian embassy in Hungary, to come and pay a courtesy visit to her. And then I went there and she took us home. She did well for us and all that. So Ayinla has been graceful in every way.
It seems you're never going to forget those songs. It seems as if those songs are now an indelible part of you, because I saw a video on YouTube where you're singing, K1 is there. There are so many people there. Yeah. You're singing, I mean, I'm like, okay, these things are never going to leave you. Do you think Ayinla is ever going to pass out of your system? Or it is in now and it's there permanently?
I don't think so. I don't think it's ever going to go. Because it's making me, because that's where I'm from. And I love the fact that it's a biopic, because after Ayinla, it changes my thought of wanting to be I don't want to be just an actor. I want to be able to imbibe the character of a lot of legends that have gone and then bring them back to life for people to see. Because a lot of people in this generation do not even know about all of these people that have gone. So we as actors can take it as a point of duty to bring all of these people back to life. And that's why biopic has been one line that I am not willing to take off my acting world. I am so sticking to it, because the one I just finished is another big one from Egba, and it's also biopic. It's another big one from Egba, and it's also biopic. Because after Ayinla, I've done about 4 biopics, and this one I just finished is my 5th one. So people have been calling me for different biopics. Come and tell the story of this person. Come and act this person. Come and act this person. I did the president, Bola Tinubu. I did Ige, the oil merchant. I did Strangers, about a doctor, and then I did the big one. I don't want to mention the name yet. It's
but
it's coming out this year.
We know the big one.
You know,
you posted it on your Instagram page. We know it already.
No,
you posted it.
I've not posted it too. No.
Was it not? Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it was the director, Shah Shu. What's the director's name? Because I saw the video on Instagram. You with the white hair, with cigarettes.
Oh, that's
white hair and cigarettes.
Okay, that's me playing Wole Soyinka. That's not even the one. There is a bigger one.
Oh, that's not even the one.
Yes, that's not even the one. There's a big one that is coming.
I mean, so will it be accurate now to call you Mr. Biopic?
Yes.
Because I can't even think of many international actors who, are you Mr. Biopic now?
Yes, I am. Feel free to call me Mr. Biopics. I like that. I want that. And then that's the part I am going to be sticking to for a very long time. Telling the story of heroes that have gone and bringing them back to life. Those that have gone and those that are still alive. We need to let people know their story and how impactful their story can be to the world. So,
okay, so you touched on this, how this generation, several generations do not know these musical heroes. Mm-hmm. Do you feel now that is a tragedy? Because I feel that every day. Every day when I'm listening to my playlist, yes. I feel that every day. In fact, that is one of the reasons why I did the Teju Babyface show. I wanted, because that show was all about the music. I wanted to enshrine that music. Do you feel like it's a tragedy for all of us?
It is.
As a people that we've lost and we are losing this music.
It is. It is. We are not even the music alone. We are losing out on what makes us. We are losing out on the culture. We are losing out on the tradition. We are losing out on what makes us beautiful as African, as Nigerian. We are so rich in culture. Our stories are so unique. And then we are losing out on all of it. Most of these Gen Zs that we have, none of them they don't know anything about history. And then these are the generation we want to leave behind. So if care is not taken, if we are not careful, in another few years, we will have no history. And it makes no sense. So for me, at the time I thought of going into full production, I said I am going to be doing a lot of biopics of our stories. The one I'm telling now, I will tell you, but I hope it won't be out until it comes out. I did the story of Lishabi, the Egba warrior that liberated them from the hands of the Oyo Empire. That's the one I just finished, and it's coming out this year. It's huge, it's big, because we need to start telling our own stories to this generation that are forgotten about us, that are forgotten about our culture, that are forgotten about our heroes and all of that. We can embrace the outside world heroes, and they showed us in movies. So we should also show them ours and let them embrace what we have. And that's what we'll be telling in recent times. That's basically telling different kind of biopics, different kind of stories that has happened in the past and bringing them back to life. Good. Okay,
I think I've gotten enough Ayinla out of my system.
Okay.
Let's move on. Because you're more than the sum of your parts. You're more than that. You are an all-round actor. You're just a great one. And I'm not usually this effusive about people, yeah, but I mean, you got me with that. So I've gotten a bit of that out of my system.
Right.
Okay, now I read something on your Instagram post, but before I read it to you,
right,
I am a great believer and respecter in the reality of life that there is no success without suffering. The Omoluabi people, the Yoruba people say, Ìyà ò jẹ ológbọ́n, tani teacher. And the Christians have something like that, an axiom like that. They say there is no glory without a story. Yeah, there's always suffering behind success. In fact, again, the Omoluabi say ikokota jefo abita jata idie agbono, right? So great. Yeah. I've said all of that to lay this foundation. I'm reading on your Instagram page. This was what you wrote, and I wrote it down so that I can quote you verbatim,
right,
or verbatim, as the English say. So I'm going to read it in 2 parts.
Okay.
So you said. Let me take you back a little. Growing up, the dream was modest. I sincerely only wanted to live and allow everyone else to do the same. Mm-hmm. I had it in me to dream big, but the circumstances around me then didn't encourage lofty hopes. Mm-hmm. I had a few friends over recently. I told them about my dark days before the limelight. Many of them didn't believe me. Mm-hmm. Me? I promise you I will believe you. Please tell me. Tell me. What, oh my goodness. What were those dark days?
Just like you said, there is no success without story. It wasn't getting to this stage. Even at this stage, it is still not easy, and it's not like it is very rosy even at this stage. Because one thing I've come to realize in life is the more you grow, the more the obstacles, and then the more you learn how to handle, different issues, different people every day of your life. So coming into the industry wasn't an easy task. First, I was trained by a non-governmental organization, Community Life Project, because I started with theater in the round when we go to marketplaces to just act for people. Because basically in those days, we use acting to get message across to people on sexuality issues, HIV/AIDS. The Community Life Project train young people to be peer educators and counselors. That's what they do. So they picked me up in my secondary school at that time, and they took about 5 of us from my secondary schools, from different schools. They take us to their organization, train us on different topics, self-esteem, assertiveness, a whole lot of topics for us to be peer educators and counselors so that we can enlighten other young people about what we know when it comes to sexuality issues, HIV/AIDS, drug abuse, and a whole lot of other stuff. So basically, we do dramas, song, and dance to pass message across to people, because we know that people are always attracted to that kind of vibe all of the time. So that's where my training started from, till I got into the university in 2000. When I got into OSU, from everything that I've gone through from my Community Life Project, I decided to have my own troupe when I got into school. I got my own troupe that I started training how to dance, all of the things I've learned from them. I started training my own people in school, and then I built up my own theater troupe. I didn't study theater. I read mass communication, but because theater has been in me, and I do not really want to have I feel if I go in and study theater art, it's going to be me wasting another 4 years with all I have gone through from my organization theater-wise. So I decided to go for mass communication, and then, major in public relations, and then just keep doing my thing. So I started my troupe from there. From there, I always go back and forth. From school, I will run to Lagos, go and play Waka Pass, like that. So the journey continues until 2006, 2007, when I finished from school. I produced my first movie in 2007, Oshiregi. That was my first movie. I collected money from my popsy. My popsy said he collected cooperative money to give me because I'm bent on, I said I want to be an actor. Say, hey, Marogo, lẹ́yìn tó ṣe tán school, eléyìí ló fẹ́ máa ṣe. Ó ti ẹ̀ mọ̀ ètò kan mú ẹ̀kọ́ ẹ̀yà mi. Tí n bá ti ṣe báyìí, after be 3 months, a máa owó yẹn máa wọlé padà, máa dá padà. Owó yẹn ò tí ì wọlé dè ní o, owó gbà yẹn.
Oh my goodness.
Because I remember then at the time that even the film has been out, and then it's time for me to get paid. I'm like, $1 I remember I'm always resuming at Idumota in the morning. I am there as early as 9. In the Adedimeji close in it, 5, 7. And then I'll be shocked that at the closing hour, not about it, uncle le pa gbogbo epo, kanko nínú bí 500,000, kẹ́ fún mi ní 20,000 pé iye tí mo máa rí gbà lé ní nìyẹn. Ọdún wo ni mo wá fẹ́ gba gbogbo owó ìtàn? In the money, they still owe me about 400,000 till today. They bought the film for 500,000. They paid me 100,000. Till today, 400,000 is still there. But it is what it is, and I do not want to give up. I feel this is my calling. I feel this is where I belong. If I leave it, what becomes of me? What becomes of the lot of people that see me and just choose to smile? That sees what I do and just be like, okay, if you can do it, then we can do better. So I feel I'll keep up the good work and I'll keep working. So after then, I had to join because I heard to be successful in the Yoruba industry, they said you must belong to a caucus in those days. So I have to join. So I joined the Afis Eniola, Bayotijani, and Muyiwa Ademola. The three of them at that time, they are all together. So all of the students under them have joined together and we always go to location. So I started with my first day on location. I started with carrying cameras. I carry lenses to follow cameraman. So fún mi ní 15 bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, ó ní sà. Fún mi dìdìrín yẹn ni, ṣé 50 lélẹ́yìí? I need 50. Yes, I'm much. You know, it was that. It was that tough. You know, after that set, I said, Mio, I don't think I want to do this one. This is not what I want to do. I'm going back. I left. But when I left, I realized I can't work in an office. If I'm working in an office and then, because at the point I was working with one of my uncle that does office work, if they call me in the morning that there is a dance somewhere, I will leave the office work, I'll go. By the time he gets to the office and asks, hey, ibo lo wà? Yes, I won't pay me fún dance kan ni mo ti lọ sá. Eléyìí ò lè ṣiṣẹ́ eléyìí o. It's better you stick to your dance. Ma jojo ẹ kiri, Ọlọ́run á gbà fún ẹ tó bá tó time. And so I stopped working. I stopped stressing myself to want to work, be an office person. I just stick to the rules of theater and I kept struggling. I've done a lead role there's a lead role I did in Ilorin for 10 days that I was given 1,000 naira. And then...
In what year? 1,000 naira. In what year?
Yes.
1982?
1982 called 2000 and I think 10. Yes. For 10 days.
1,000 bucks.
Yes, by the grace of God, 1,000. And then I spent 10 days on that set and I wasn't even given feeding money until day 6. And even the day 6, it wasn't like, it was the PM that asked me, he now went to speak to the producer, the producer just flare up. No one kò sọ fún èmi ni mo bí. Bá tún ní mo máa dáràn. Ṣé mo ní kẹ́ lọ sọ fún wọn? Tán bá lé mi kúrò bí sì kí tún ní hope mi. Kí ni hope mi? So they started giving me 300 naira per day for the next 4 days that I finished the set. Màá tún lọ dúpẹ́ náà ni, màá tún lọ dúpẹ́, you know. For 1,000, I played about 98 scenes for 8,000. Out of the 8,000, I gave my boss 115 to buy a recharge card. So I was left with 5,000 in Oyo, and I'm going back to Ikoton. That's where my parents say, mo ti kúrò ní university o. Wọ́n gbọ́kànlé mi pẹ̀lú àwọn tó wà lẹ́yìn mi o.
Wow.
It's a theater. So it was really a tough one. All the time. Then at some point I decided in my mind that, okay, I think the certificate that said I would not go and dust to go and look for office work, I think at this stage I have to let me go. So I called one or two that I know in the industry that are so big, and I feel I want to seek for advice. I told someone that, hey, but tó bá jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ṣe yìí làwa náà ṣe ń ṣe, èmi ò rò pé mo lè cope, mo fẹ́ lọ wá iṣẹ́, mo kúkú kàwé, I want to go and look for a job and all that. Hey, please, if you help me to see any job, an office job that I can do, and the salary is good, I'm ready and I'm willing to. And I said, okay, be industry sharing here, but I'll speak to one or two of my friends. Somebody vacant, somebody availability lọ́dọ̀ wọn, and I will let you know. So I think I remember I spoke to a marketer that I want to leave and go and look for a job. And that what the marketer said to me that year was what made me stick to the fact that here I will be here and I will succeed in this industry. He said, Ofello, with all that you have in you, with all that you carry, you have not used half of what God has given you as a talent. If you go, you will regret it. I can assure you. Stay here. Don't worry. With time, you'll be shocked. You will blow. Just stay. That was the word that the marketer told me that year. And I said, okay, I'm happy with a portrait. We'll be here. Together, we die here. We'll grow together. And then I keep up like that. I think the first time I was paid a huge money was 2013. 2013, yes. When I did Kudi Klepto by Yewande Adekoya in 2013. And then Yewande called me. A lot of people didn't believe the fact that I am going to be able to play that role. But Yewande told me, I think I believe in you. I know you can do it. Just please don't disappoint me. So that year, I think, and that was the movie that brought me to limelight, Kudi Klepto. That was the movie that brought me to limelight that year. And I was paid, I think, Yewande gave me 15,000 for that film. And in 2013, that was the biggest I have collected in the journey of my career. And if I tell people that I didn't start to collect 100,000, 200,000 until like 2015, 16, a lot of people would not believe it. A lot of people would not believe it. If you see me play a lead role, the highest I might have collected for the lead that you saw me play is either 4,000, 5,000, 10, like that.
Dollars?
Dollars, ke. Naira.
Sorry, you played an entire movie, the lead role in an entire movie, and they gave you 5,000 naira in, say, maybe 2014.
Yes, now. Because it's more like you're learning. You're learning. It's a learning process. For me, I am glad that I went through all those processes, because those processes prepared me to really be ready for what is coming. And then the fact that I've not always been about the money. It has always been my passion. It has always been, this is what, once I do it, there is the joy that comes inside me. I just feel at peace and all of that. So it's first my passion that was driving me, and building the craft that was driving me, because I know that someday when the fame comes, I will stand the test of time, because I've been able to build the craft to a certain extent. I am certain and I'm sure about the continuity of the craft. So the fame has something to hold on to for a very long time. So I have been building the craft. Even while going through all of the stress, I kept building the craft. I never stopped rehearsing. I never stopped learning. I never stopped reading till this morning. It is always upgrading, trying to read, trying to learn new things, trying to build up new characters so that one can stand the test of time. The fame can have something to keep holding on to and stick to you for a long time. You know. So if my story is long.
Well, we have, that's why I wanted to do a podcast and not return to the Teji Babyface show now, because if this were the show, we'll probably have limited window, but I wanted to do this long form conversation thing. But we're still in it. Let me read, although you answered that, you have alluded to that answer already, because the next thing you said here was that I was used by many. That's many people. I was used by many, and I also used myself to bring people's dream to life. I wasn't perturbed about frivolities. I meant well for people, regardless of what they paid me in return. After all, it is what it is. It is. It is what it is. So you alluded.
It's just normal for one to go through that in whatever industry you find yourself. There are times you have to work extraordinarily for people to become, for them to achieve their own dreams. It is not compulsory that at the time that you will need them, they will be there. But it doesn't still amount to the fact that you now have to stop and box yourself up. Keep moving. It is life. It is life. Some people will stay, some people will fall off on the road. But the joy is, you know your target, you know your focus. Keep moving. The focus is right in front and you can see it. Keep moving. Whatever happens in between are just normal noise that could want to distract you from losing the focus that is up there. Just keep going. As a matter of time, you will get there and you will hit the nail on the head. So,
you said something that was instructive when you started to answer this question 2 questions ago. Right. You said it was tough, and you said even now it's tough. Not in so many words, but that was the idea. Now that is freaky, because on the surface, let's go with Instagram alone. As at today, you have 4.5 million followers. I can assure you that in the hedonistic world in which we live right now, some people cannot just imagine having 1 million followers, talk much less of 4.5. As far as they are concerned, if they ever get near where you are, at 3 million followers alone, life is, in fact, this is heaven. This is paradise. And yet, there you are, sitting on the precipice of 5 million, and you're saying life is tough. No, you must explain that to us, because I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but maybe just explain to us.
For me, it's more like, like I said, the more you grow, the more you learn, the more I've come to learn in life that you can be 10 in a group and all of you are trying to grow together. And then you can be useful to all of the 10. And it is time for you for them to be useful for you, and everybody drops off. It is normal. You can face such. But if that happens to you, think about it in different ways. What is God trying to tell you? And what is He trying to make you be physically, emotionally? He wants to make you strong. He wants to tell you that if I am not there, then no other person can be there. He wants to tell you that, look up to me. I am right beside you. You can get all of these things done. And basically that's it. So for me, I've always my joy has always been, I don't want to do what everybody is doing. I always want to do my thing differently. And then I would always stick to that instinct once it came to me and I feel like, okay, this is the path I want to tread. That's the path I'm going to go for. No matter anything being said from other people, I'm going to stick to that path, because I know that for it to have come to me, then there is a way in that path. Then as I'm going on that path, I'm sure there are going to be blocks on the way. But what is important is on that journey, I've come with my armor and all of that. So when the block comes, I break the block, try to maneuver my way and keep going. It's never going to be easy. It's still not going to be easy at this time. The more you grow, the more the wahala, so it's never going to stop. It's just going to continue that way.
In the immortal words of the notorious B.I.G., more money, more problems.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question that on the surface always seems like a frivolous question. And usually, with all humility, when people ask it, it is a frivolous question, but not from where I am asking it.
Okay.
With in the movie Spider-Man, about the most famous line in the entire Spider-Man franchise is the line, "With great power comes great responsibility." Yes. And I understand that with fame, with success, and with power, as it were, with influence, comes this attention from the opposite sex that we actually thrive upon. We thrive upon it regardless of how much we fool ourselves. Without, in fact, somebody said if the female race were taken off the face of the earth, if the female gender were taken off the face of the earth, men would have no reason to walk. He said whether or not you can trace it directly, everything that you're doing, if you trace it to the source and the root of it, you're doing it for women. If you're not trying to impress your mother or your sisters or your wife, you're trying to impress a larger female population at large. So regardless of how sanctimonious we like to feel about it, we are very appreciative for the female attention we get. Having said that, however, as a star, women come at you. I mean, I don't have to tell you this. This is my simple question because it helps. How does one maintain sanity and how do you handle it when all of a sudden, because you must, I mean, I dreamt, I don't know about you, I was dreaming at a point when all these girls, these hot girls in Unilag, when they will look at my side, to now suddenly find yourself in a position where they're actually looking at your side. How do you not go crazy like a kid in a candy shop, like a starved kid in a candy shop? How do you rein in your impulses? How do you control and discipline yourself?
Like I said, fame comes with a whole lot, and then none of this is easy. None of this is easy. But I remember what my father once told me. Ọjọ́ tó máa mọ̀ pé orí ẹ ti dé, lọ́jọ́ tí obìnrin tán bá ti pọ̀ lórí ẹ, tán lé ẹ lọ́tùn, tán lé ẹ lósì. Dúpẹ́ fọlọ́run pé nǹkan tó dáa ti súnmọ́ ẹ. Ó ní ọjọ́ tó bá dẹ̀ tún ti máa mọ̀ pé orí ibú ẹ ti súnmọ́, òun ni ọjọ́ tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n wá pọ̀ bí nǹkan míì lórí ẹ. Ìwọ náà wà ní làákàyè mọ́, ò wá mọ̀ èyí tó kàn, ò wá follow that line of action. That's the end. So females, they come with the success and they come with the ruin at the same time. So it is important for you to know that it's never going to be easy, but caution yourself, be strong enough to be able to resist some certain things, and then hold on to God. It's not easy. For me, if it is not that I'm religious a bit, and then èèyàn lólùbáwí, èèyàn àti sọnù. But there is always the callback from time to time. Wo, ní pẹ́ kú, ní pẹ́ lọ, and then you just need to just remember that tó bá gba ọ̀nà tó ń gbà, you die. Tó bá gba bí, you die. Just keep calling yourself back. Ìjẹ́ èèyàn máa fẹ́ máa gbé ẹ. The fame will want to push you to do. The minute fame comes, a lot of negative things looks like positivity to you. Because you have a face to match whatever is being bring forth to you. more like you want to sell something that is red to people, and then you want to call it white to people. But you that owns the product cannot sell it. But you look for a famous person that people believes in. They know that thing is red, but if it tells them white, because of the love they have for him, they'll follow. So, and then you have been paid for it. You want to go on here, but want to follow it. So how many people are we celebrities putting on the track, on the right path, and how many people are we ourselves leading astray? So it is just calling yourself back from time to time that, hey, Koni easy, but you have to be strong to go through it and stay on the right path.
Thank you. I like the part where you said, I forget what you used now because I was so invested in what you were saying. Olubawi, that's what you said.
Yes.
Olubawi. Yeah. And sometimes they are friends to us. I remember, I will never forget this. T.A., Paul Play, Dairo, and myself used to share an office. And Paul Play looked at me one day. I'm talking of this might have been 2006. Paul Play looked at me one day and he said, so a girl had come to see me and she left. And then another girl came. And I think it was after the third girl had left that Paul Play, Dairo said to me, Tej. Àwọn ọmọ yìí ò lè tán, ìwọ ló máa tán. I will never forget that. He said, there's no end to this thing. And if you follow this path, you're going to exhaust, deplete yourself. And in that moment, Paul enshrined himself. He became immortal in my mind in that moment. So to hear you use those words, Olubawi. And so who is that for you principally in your life? Or who are those people who can call you? Because it's not easy to call a star to order. We get filled with all our own. We start to drink our own Kool-Aid. We start to believe everything about ourselves. So who is the Olubawi for you?
One thing my father does for all of us that was great for us is he made us realize that even if you think I have money, all of you now think you have one inheritance somewhere. Let me make it clear to you today. There is no single inheritance for any of you in my empire. The only inheritance that I have that I will give to you is Motironyi lo le keu, Motironyi lo si school. Hold on to those two very well. So, from time to time, it would always make us realize that religiously, because kó wà religious gan tó bá pàdé àwọn àgbákò mi, wọ́n á jẹ́ kó mọ̀ pé orí religious tó lò wà yẹn, aláwọn nǹkan mi wà tó bá já sí báyìí wà padà later. So if care is not taken, wà á sọnù that. So apart from the fact that they grounded us well religiously, he is never too away from calling us from time to time to say, but even as at now, he will still call us from time to time, call me from time to time, and my mom and be like, bo wa ni, ṣó ń lọ dáadáa, jẹ́jẹ́ o, rántí ọmọ ẹni tó ń ṣe o, orúkọ rere, ó sàn ju wúrà àti, all of those words. My mother doesn't miss this sermon every Friday. Every Jimo, she will call to tell me this sermon. Or every Jimo. So
Nigeria has happened.
Yes.
I think I will leave this part in the podcast. For those who are watching, or for those who are listening rather, Lateef Adedimeji's picture just went dark. It just went dark all of a sudden. I mean, there's no need for me to ask as a Nigerian. We know what happened. In not Iloni. The power has gone. The electricity has gone. I'm saying that for my foreign friends. For my Nigerian people, they know. In not Iloni, the light has gone.
Should we cut the video?
All right, so in between that last bit and this bit, there's been about 10 minutes where light went. So Lateef, who should be apologizing to whom now? I feel as the producer of the program, even though I'm in the US and you're there, I feel like I should apologize to you for what has happened in Nigeria.
We would apologize to you too for what Nigeria has done to you.
Look, I would like to keep speaking with you, but this, I don't want to risk this happening again because it took us all those minutes to reconnect. I'm curious, as one who has fans home and abroad. I mean, you were in Dallas here not too long ago, and I saw the outpouring of love and all of that. And there must have been a few whispers in your ear that, well, why don't you also move the family or set up here abroad? In fact, if they didn't tell you that, even you might have entertained the thought. Please, what is your thoughts on our country and the possibilities of, at the very least, setting up another family unit out of the country, given all the challenges we're going through?
We know that Nigeria right now is not easy. Is quite let's say it's quite interesting. Let's not say tough. Let's be saying positive things to our country. So we believe that everything would still come back to life. But one thing is certain, that èèyàn sì ní fọwọ́ òsì júwe ilé bàbá ẹ̀. Kò sí béèyàn ṣe lè pẹ́ lájò tó náà, ẹ̀jẹ̀ tán fi bí ẹ yóò sì máa rùn náà ni. So for me, it is not a good idea for me to leave patapatali. I cannot, because what becomes of the profession, what becomes of the lot that are trying to climb on your back to become something in life. They would ask me about them. If I don't have anything to say, then I am not an achiever. I have not achieved anything. But we will keep trying. We will keep praying that God restore a whole lot of things back to Nigeria. But for me, I don't think I want to leave. I can choose to have a dual citizenship, but I don't think I would leave patapatali. No.
Well, that's interesting. I don't think it's possible for anybody to leave, actually. And I think anybody who intends to leave completely cutting off all ties is delusional. You cannot cut off all ties, especially when you have a call to that place. Time can be taken off, as you've also alluded to. Alternatives can be made, but ile koko kontagbe, and then the light has gone again. So Lateef, the next thing out of my mouth, and it has come back again. Maybe they switched over. People who are not Nigerian will not understand. They switched over right now. So the light, it went suddenly dark, and now it's light again. So at this point, I think I should respect myself and just be thanking you and be signing out.
Right. All right. Let's go.
Lateef, somehow we're going to join all of this together in post-production. I don't know how. There have been so many breaks. We're jumping from modem to modem. Say Mawati le kúrò ní Nigeria ni. Kí Nigeria tó wá máa dẹ̀mí l'America. Oh my God.
And what we know?
Ẹ tún tẹ̀lé mi dying. You followed me all the way here again. Okay, look, let me just ask the last question. I have several, but let me just ask one more and then we're out of here to sign this off. So thank you for your time. Even though you're used to production, all these production interruptions as one who works in your industry and in Nigeria. So you mentioned about the importance of spirituality. I don't want to say religiosity. To be spiritual, to be connected to a higher power, God, as it is. You spoke about how your dad said, what I owe you, I've given you. I've sent you to the Arabic school and also given you formal education. Our parents also did that for us, our generation. And even though I'm slightly older than you are, I consider that more or less it's the generation that we're part of, more or less. They sent us to Sunday school and Ile Keu and all of that. I wondered, is Ile Keu still a thing now? Are there still Arabic schools? Are we inculcating in our children the values that we had growing up? Because it's just a bit hard for me to see your kid, for example, going to what I picture as Ile Keu that I understood then. So I guess what I'm asking is there a modern interpretation? Does that still happen?
Yeah. Yes, there is still Ile Keu. But it is an advanced kind of thing now. You can choose to have just like you have a private teacher to come teach your kids in the house after school hours and all of that. They do that too now. They have Afas who can come teach them in the house, and then maybe they can only go to the congregation where the proper Ile Keu on the weekend. During the weekdays, you can have Afas come to the house, teach them the things that they need to know, and then they go to the normal Ile Keu on the weekend. We still have it.
Oh, that is awesome, because my recollection of Ile Keu, because I grew up in Shogunle and we had all of those institutions around, and it was like a boot camp. Because the Afars will be there with the canes, and the kids will go la da da da. Yeah, Sorosoge, so that was mine. That's the picture that I still have. All right, my final questions. My brother, how many movies do you do a year? Because getting you here is a boon for us. How many movies are you doing now per year?
I don't. Before now, I think there's a reduction in the number of movies I'm trying to do in a year now. I'm cutting down a whole lot. I just want to do few meaningful ones and then do my own production. So unlike before I know that I can shoot like five in a month before. But now, maybe I do like just one or two in a month, or one or two in 3 months. But before now, I can shoot in 6 months. I would have been able to count like 35 that I've shot.
What?
Because it's more like you're here 2 days, and then you're leaving here in 2 days, you're jumping on another one for another 2 days, so in like 2 weeks you would have realized that two days on different movie sets, you have done like 10. You'll be shocked. Or 1 day. So wow. And then you don't have too much of time to read script and all of that. Unlike now, when you know that I have to read script, I have to be sure that it's going to be another challenging character for me. If it is not going to challenge me, if it's not going to stretch me as an actor, then I don't think I want to do it. It has to stretch me from the usual, from what I've done before. I want something that is harder, that is more tasking than what I've done before. So if that script is not going to challenge me and it's not going to stretch me to that extent, if it is a thing like things I've done before, then there won't be too much stress. And it has to stress me. I need to feel what I am doing to be in it. So if it is not going to push me to that level, I would rather drop it and wait for a more challenging role.
Awesome. Look, thanks a lot, Lateef. I promise you that I have so much to ask you still, but this limitation just informed me again that, look, the time begins to approach where I must also be on ground where you are or where I am. So I look forward very soon to an in-person interview and interaction between both of us, because I have a lot. We haven't even gotten into marriage and family and the art of the production. We haven't even touched all of those. I wanted to know how you felt playing Bola Tinubu in an age where he's president and there's a critical mass of people who don't think that he should be president and all of that. But again, lest our limitations come to haunt and interrupt us, I'd like to say thank you very much for coming, brother. God bless you.
You're most welcome. God bless you too, boss. God bless you too. Thank you so much.
All righty then.
Okay.
The Omoluabi people have a saying with which you are perhaps familiar. I think Nice popularized the saying in one of his songs a few years ago. Ariwo le pọ̀ ni or ariwo á pọ̀ ni ṣùgbọ́n ẹlẹ́dẹ̀ yóò dọ̀yọ̀. Bó ṣe kó fikùn wọ́ débẹ̀ ni ẹlẹ́dẹ̀ yóò dọ̀yọ̀. That is difficult to translate. It literally means that it may take a long period of time, it may take a long time, but a pig, a hog, will eventually get to Oyo town if that's its destination, even if it takes a long time. A pig might not be the fastest animal in the world. It might grunt, it might heave, it might have to drag itself on its stomach, but if the pig doesn't give up, eventually the pig will get to its destination, which is Oyo town. That's the literal meaning of it. Of course, the metaphorical meaning, the meaning that they intend, is that sometimes what it takes to get somewhere, to get something achieved, might be a lot. But eventually, if you don't give up, regardless of what it takes out of you and all the effort and all the exertion, you will get to your destination. This again just means that you don't achieve without concerted and long and extended and often painful effort. You know this already, but here's the question. At what point do you determine when to quit and when to keep on keeping on? After all, they say winners do not quit and quitters do not win. And yet sometimes if you do not quit in life, then you don't move on. But how do you tell when to quit, especially when things are not working out? I ask us this in reference to Lateef Adedimeji, whose interview you just saw. Lateef was ready to call it quits with acting. He was going to give it up. He was going to go find a job 9 to 5 to take care of himself and his dependents. He was tired, he was frustrated, he was done, and yet he didn't. Why? The why is in the answer that he told us and a bit more. He went to meet somebody. He didn't call the person an angel, but that's what I call the person. The person looked at him and said, "How can you give up with everything that you carry, with all your endowments? How can you give up? Do not give up." So first thing, we all need encouragers when life gets tough, dark, and difficult. People who will prop us up and hold us up in the darkest moments during the days and the nights when we feel like giving up. Now, I am not telling you to cultivate those people. I am just telling you that that is a sign. Those people will be there for you. Life sends them to you. You might not even know them, but life sends those people to you to encourage you. So number one, if you feel like giving up right now, but you're finding encouragement, perhaps from even sources from which you did not expect that encouragement, that might be a sign. But finally, and perhaps most importantly, we go again to one of my favorite concepts by now, the concept of your Ori in the Yoruba parlance, the Omoluabi parlance, your creative being, your center. I say this almost every week. Beri, lowo ori, ask your being. Pray. And again, as I told you last week, prayer does not mean all those dramatic things that we do. Prayer just means to ask. I promise you that you can hardly ask yourself, you can hardly ask your being, you can hardly take a walk for a period of time or sit down in a corner for a period of time and just ask yourself, what am I supposed to do? You can hardly do that over a period of time without life aligning and sending you some signs. Life will begin to align. Coincidences will start to happen. Let me ask you this. Has this ever happened to you before? You were thinking of somebody, you were going to call them, and as soon as you reached for your phone to call that person calls you immediately. And you go, oh my God, I was just thinking about you. And then the Omoluabi say, shetin yin jani, which means that were you somehow spiritually hearing me reaching out for you, trying to call you? And then we say, oh, that's a coincidence. Look, pay attention to the little things once you begin to ask yourself. And it's not only about whether to quit, it's about everything in life. Should I marry this person? Should I move from Nigeria to Canada? Should I move back to Nigeria from Canada? Should I study medicine? Should I study law? Should I do an online course? All these things about life, ask your being. I told you not too long ago the Omoluabi proverb, Inu eni, lododo eni. The truth that comes from within you is the greatest truth. Yeah, listen to people like me, listen to mentors, read books, get inspired. But when you've gotten all that, pray all that. Even when you pray and you think you're beginning to get answers, pass those answers and those inclinations through the engine and the processing unit of your being. Again, the Omoluabi say, Alatiṣe, òun ló mà ti ṣe ara ẹ̀. You, better than anybody else on the face of the earth, knows what works for you. You just have to listen. Be silent for a while. Which is why life will often take us through those periods of silence. Why life will take us to the wilderness. Why life will force us sometimes to keep quiet. You must discover yourself in solitude. Learn to talk to your being. Learn to talk to your creative center. Bá orí ẹ sọ̀rọ̀. And then when you begin to get answers, process those answers through yourself and through the lens or the lenses of logic, common sense, and wisdom. Enough said. I'll see you on the next one.